my guest is a very busy man. Looks rather dapper too in the newspapers today. I don't know how old that picture is, but it makes him look very young. That's my way of passing him a compliment. And that laughter you hear, that laughter you hear. Winford James, I thank you, Doctor. Good morning to you, and how are you?
Good morning, Rennie B. I am strong and good. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
It is good to have you, so thank you so very much. And like I said, you look rather spiffy, as they would say. What is it they say in Jamaica? You look fresh and clean. I think it's fresh and clean, right? But all right, so it is good to have you here and good to see you looking in good health. I am looking at something that you prominently featured in today's newspaper, dealing with the question of 2 years, because folks may not realize that come this Thursday we would have embarked on 2 years of the ruling People's National Movement. You were asked to do a grading. I found it a rather interesting grading, and I'm so happy that you acquiesced to be with us here this morning. So 2 years inside the PNM, you say you give them a 5 out of 9. No, out of 10. Why is it you grade 5, sir?
Well, I think government inherited a lot of mess from the previous regime and has had to do a balancing act with the finances of the country. Government also the PNM also inherited government in a context in which energy prices were falling precipitously. In our own case, they moved from, let's say, $100 per day to 50. Of course, I'm estimating here now. But the point is we have our earning capacity from oil plummeted almost 50%. Yes? And we have had to borrow money to even pay some workers, the state being the biggest employer, so you can imagine. So we are not earning as much income as possible. We're not earning as we used to earn, right? And yet we want to maintain our standard of living. But the government has been able, for the most part, to keep the balance going. Now, how long they're going to do this, I don't know. And you know the initiatives that they took. The property tax was a major one, as you know.
Yes.
And that has not materialized in the way that they expected.
Well, the truth to be told, that has been frustrated in many ways. But you also mentioned a very interesting part in your assessment, because you spoke to something that folks may not be looking at, but it is real, the social dislocation that has been minimized.
Yes.
Please delineate.
That is clear. That is clear. And that is clear despite the trade union movement that has been flexing its muscle and that has been behaving in an aggrieved fashion because of the failure of some of the bargaining processes to get their workers improved salaries and so on. Going back years, the trade unions have been very vocal, as you know, but they have been showing restraint as well. So that the government seems to be in a political situation which has not yet exploded into the streets as happens in other countries. So just for keeping that economic balance going, keeping the management of the reduced income in the country in the way that they have, deserves, to my mind, a pass mark.
The other thing, go ahead, Doctor.
However, the PNM has been the party that has ruled this country for most of its life since independence, right? And therefore had the greatest opportunity to fix some of the problems, the continuing problems we have, and they haven't really done it. And the fracas, the fiasco on the ferry service is your latest and probably best example of how PNM has presided over a situation that could have been fixed, and fixed so well long ago.
Rest assured that I will be going down into the area of some of those areas of the failures. But when you speak of this location, usually folks cannot appreciate what they have not faced unless there is compared to what. And a compared to what is a good example being in Venezuela, being in Brazil, being in right now in Saudi Arabia, and many countries that are victims of reduced gas revenue. They are suffering some serious problems. We have not had that here.
That's correct.
And I think
the government, I think, needs to pass. But the point I was leading on to make by going by analogy through the ferry service, the point I was going to make was that the government had an opportunity over time, and even in the current administration, to really embrace diversification in a bold manner.
And I concur with you on that, Doctor. But right alongside your grading of the government for the 2 years, we had Dr. Selman Orion, who said he's going to reserve his comment because 2 years is early. Let me say that to tell you where I'm going with this, because as while they can fix the problem here, part of what Dr. Orion said was he preferred the slow progress as was done in the Roman Empire as against the speedy resolution of things that a dictator will bring. Now let me say where I'm going with this. Many argue that what has been going on the port is a problem from long standing, and sometimes you have to take a long time to take it out properly. I'm optimistically, or I'm rather going to assiduously be looking at what happens in the Joint Services hearing, the JSC meeting that starts on Monday, because if in fact, as you said, this problem has been there a long time, hopefully we can get to some of the blocks, the fundamental blocks on which this corruption or this twisted arrangement has been laid on.
It's not only those two things, it's also mismanagement. In fact, it is more mismanagement than anything else.
Gotcha.
And it's also a reflection of a dependency politics that PNM has nurtured over time. And let me say this. We don't have to go too far away from Trinidad in order to have a sense of how much better we could do. We only have to go to other Caribbean islands, that other countries that are multi-island countries, and see how they connect up their islands to the mainland, to the main island.
Yes.
And we are going to have an astonishing understanding of how well these other countries have managed their ferry service between their islands, right, with less income, less financial power than Trinidad and Tobago has. We have not been able to even copy the splendid practice of these multi-island countries in the Caribbean that also, we are the only country that has a ferry service, right? And I'm saying in the Caribbean here, there is evidence that other countries are doing better at handling their service. So I'm sure Selwyn Ryan is far more competent in making the connections of Trinidad and Tobago to the Roman Empire and so on. I have read about these things, but I don't know that I need to travel that far to understand that things need to go faster. Because the point you're making about Dr. Ryan is that slow is probably better than reckless speed or something like that.
Yeah,
I think the PNM as an outfit has had enough time. Now, Dr. Rowley's administration may not have had enough time. But if you put his administration as part of a chain of PNM administrations, the PNM as a party has had a lot of time.
I got the point.
Let me remind us all that Dr. Rowley was a part of the PNM outfit for quite some time, part of its history. So, and you know, people can't understand why the problem has not been fixed or cannot be fixed more quickly than is happening. So let me just emphasize this. I'm giving them the mark for holding the ship of state together, for minimizing, as you say, social unrest, They need to have a pass man. But what is their record on diversification? What is there? Our management, to the extent that some companies in this country or enterprises look good, it's essentially to me a masking, as a result of a masking of good prices internationally, right? With good management. People think that because things were going well in the past, it is because of good management, but it turns out, having regard to what is happening now, that it is bad management. The things are good when the prices abroad are good.
Yes,
things are bad when the prices abroad are bad.
When you
Why can't we? Sorry.
I'm sorry. When you have revenue in abundance, everything seems as though it's working well.
Yes, and you seem to think that you think it's okay to say now people are managing well. What we've seen in the case of Petro-Trin, and that is not the case at all. We have been, in fact, shrouding and protecting poor management in this country, right? Because the prices of oil internationally have been good.
I hear what you're saying. Dr. Winford James is the voice that you're hearing, listeners, on this Sunday morning. Doctor, on the one hand, folks, like I said, it's very fair grading, and I think anybody who read how you arrive at it will understand that. It is also true to say, though, because we have sought opinions of not just economists, but other folks to talk about this question of diversification. Turning a nation when hitherto it was totally ignored, it is difficult now to see the fruits of diversification in short order. That is going to take a much longer time.
Now, yes, in the context, because we have not put the foundations in place.
Indeed.
Now, we do have some circumstances that are quite promising, but we don't have the political will, because we don't have the political belief that those foundations have the promise that some people talk about. But then when you look at the rest of the Caribbean again, Guyana has discovered oil and so on, so they are coming up.
Yep.
But they have had a grim history where their financial income is concerned. But other countries in the Caribbean who don't have oil, how do they manage? They are managing in the ways that we should have been managing as well.
Well, we will look at that and see. Barbados for a while seemed to be managing very well until the barrel opened up, because right now they are in some serious times. We also may be in for a very difficult time coming, Doctor, because the Minister of Finance is expected to give his budget statement, his budget speech to the nation sometime this month in September. And
our finance
minister, yes, and many feel that it is going to be a very bumpy ride come this one, because we have not had an appreciation in revenue. As a matter of fact, on the contrary, so the ride can get a whole lot bumpier. How pessimistic are you, or how confident are you that we may be able to hold the beast and control it and have it happen in a controlled way, as they have tried in the first 2 years?
One of the things about Trinidad and Tobago that makes it a place that I like to live in is that we are very creative people.
Yes.
We are people who can go to a second plan, a third plan if things don't go right. We might complain, but we have to do that and make the adjustments. But we can, especially if we have land. So that the people in the rural areas will survive very well, that they'll get things to eat.
Yes.
And they will go back to the old customs of bartering and so on. You give me some of what you have, I give you some of what I have, and so on, right?
I am encouraged by that optimism, yes.
Because when you come into the cities, the urban areas, and you don't have land to fall back on, and you don't have the attitude that you can make these adjustments, you can change your tastes, right? You can make these adjustments.
Yes.
Tobago has been able to do that very well, although it's changing as well. But I'm saying, if you had that kind of history, based on coupled with the creativity of people in this country, we could manage the adjustment.
Well, we will wait.
Yes?
No,
yes,
I'm sorry, Doctor, I'm crossing you. Complete, please.
No, that's okay.
Yes, I'm saying that at the end of the day, I am really encouraged at your optimism because, yes, it's very easy for folks to be pessimistic, but in reality, we will find a way because I think it was Arrow who said a long time ago, Calypsonian Arrow, man must live, or was it Swallow? No matter what, man will live.
And let me tell you something, there are lots of people who already have gone in that route, who are falling back on their own wits and their own energies and their own solutions. I'm talking legal ones now.
Yes.
I'm talking about people who are law-abiding, but who understand that this dependence on the supermarket, this dependence on food are grown and created elsewhere coming in here. And because we have the money to throw at it. Our understanding, even the food that comes in is not necessarily the best. Apart from all having to find the foreign exchange to spend on those things, right? It's not only food. I'm only using food as an example. But I believe the adjustments have begun to be made.
There's a new
all
day.
This money that we spend on these very expensive homes. People, you see how expensive homes are and how it's difficult for even young professionals, even in twosomes, a man and a woman coming together and cannot buy a decent home because of the skyrocketing prices of homes. When I built my house many moons ago, what happened? I used the social traditions, social custom. People came in and helped me through what we call in Tobago Lenhan, and what you guys in Trinidad call Gayap.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. You help me, I help you.
They came and built my foundations for me.
At the end of
and also the roof as well.
At the end of the day, we're going to go back to that area. Doctor, I'm running a little out of my time. Usually when you and I get together, we should just put together the whole two hours and say we're going to sit down and talk. But I want to conclude with one thing that I must touch on. As I said, I'm encouraged. First of all, I like the grade you gave it as a 5, and you're still watching. And I think it's a fair grade. I want to ask you one question that I'm going to raise with my other listeners this morning. We have the opposition, and I have 2 minutes to do this, so let me do it quickly. We have the opposition not showing up at the Independence Day parade of the nation. That, to me, is shameful to the point that I cannot see any part of America that there's a celebration, any part of the modern world where there's a celebration of the nation's of the nation at Independence time, and I have opposition members who don't show up. I think it is woeful. It's a shame, and these people should be put in the public square name-wise and totally shamed.
It's an unbelievably absurd piece of politics, because had they been in government, they would have been there. And that's the first point to note, that they would have been there.
Yes.
Per force, perhaps, but they would have been there. And they would have expected the opposition to turn up as well. And there's a kind of indefensible self-righteousness about that approach, and the people will pay attention to. Yes, but the point of that might get lost when the election time comes in, because there are so many issues that arise in this country. But this is emblematic of the absurdity of UNC politics, that, you wonder, what is it they have as an alternative? Thinking people are waiting for something robust.
Yes.
And then you are wasting people's time by that kind of, I don't know if it's protest, but it's unbelievably absurd politics.
A lack of statesmanship and patriotism, a total misunderstanding of governance, a total representation of what real representation is. Because there is no way you can tell me you're representing people, and at the time when the people you're seeking to represent, who are part of this whole independent country, you were saying, I'm not going to be there. Why? Because I'm not in power.
No, not only are they saying that, they're saying there is nothing to celebrate.
Yes.
Can you believe an alternative government is saying that there's nothing in this country to celebrate? Yes? And it is the same party that wants to take power the next time?
I find it.
So this double-speak and this opportunistic kind of politics that is no longer credible, by the way.
Shameful.
People are far smarter, I think. The racial bogey had, if we didn't have a racial base to support political parties, we would have had much better democracy for a long time ago.
Yes.
But the race keeps it together. The race protects absurdity after absurdity. And there are lots of people like myself who are fed up of it and will not tolerate it.
Dr. James, I am in total concurrence with you. To me, there is nothing more shameful than you having the nation celebrating its independence anniversary and members of an opposition party not showing up. This is unbelievable. But I thank you so much for taking the time to be with me this morning. I am going to say this admirably. Young man.
You are most gracious, Rennie B. Thank you very much.
I thank you, sir. You have yourself a wonderful day, and thank you so much for joining us.